The baby was covered in hair, to the point where it was so noticeable, they just named him Red, I guess after the color of his hair. This older brother would grow up to not really appreciate the fact that he was the son of an extremely wealthy person, was going to inherit a giant portion of the estate. Instead, he sold it to his younger brother for a pittance. The younger brother, of course, was Jacob, the father of the 12 tribes of Israel. And the hairy son, his twin brother, his older twin brother, was Esau, later named Edom. His children would develop into a major nation that lived south of the Dead Sea, southeast of the tribal area of Judah. And they would be a thorn in the side of the Israelites for a very long time. Hey, I'm Dr. Rob. I'm in an oasis in the middle of the desert between Phoenix and Flagstaff, Arizona. You'll notice that in this series of episodes we're doing on biblical genealogy, I've now been in 4 states and 2 countries. Well, I'm just trying to highlight the life of the traveling creation evangelist and what I do for CMI. I'm in Arizona again for the Creation Research Society Board of Directors meeting. I spoke at a church in town last night. I'll be speaking at a large church in Tucson on Sunday, but first we have the Board of Directors meeting, and I'm here early and had one morning. So I went off as I usually do, and I found a natural area just to go explore. My hiking, I saw some quail, some jackrabbits, I think I saw a roadrunner, but I found an oasis, a little spot with water in the middle of nothing. Now, it's a little greener right now because this is late spring. I think they had some rain not too long ago, at least according to the water here, that there's some water in the ground just percolating out, and the hot season just about to start. In the American way of counting temperature, it was 100 degrees yesterday. It'll probably be 100 degrees today, so we're in our 100 days over 100 zone here in southern Arizona, and it's going to be blazing hot. But right now it's beautiful, and I found water. Now, as long as you know where the water is in the desert, you can survive just fine. And so in the Old Testament, when you look at where the Edomites, the Moabites, the Ammonites, where those people were living, they're living along the watercourses, the wadis, the oases, springs. This is where towns and villages will develop, and the nation of Edom is going to grow quite large. What I want to do here is I want to give you an introduction to a man named Esau and his genealogy. This is interesting because of the number of ways that Esau's genealogy ties into the Old Testament story. There's a lot of places where Esau and Israel intersect, and if we understand his genealogy, we can understand the Old Testament a lot better. Now, Esau, of course, is the son of Isaac, who is the son of Abraham and Sarah. Isaac had a brother named Ishmael, and Esau has a brother named Jacob. Ishmael becomes Ishmaelites, Jacob becomes the Israelites, but Esau is going to become the Edomites. And he's going to have a number of wives, but as soon as we start looking in the wives, we come up with a textual difficulty, because there's 2 different places his wives are listed, and they're different names, but the names overlap. So let's go through it. In Genesis chapter 26, we see that Esau marries Judith, the daughter of Beeri the Hittite, and Basemath, the daughter of Elon the Hittite. Now, who are the Hittites? The Hittites descend from Heth, the son of Canaan, the son of Ham. So the Hittites are Canaanites, and Esau married 2 Canaanites. This caused lots of trouble for his parents. So, being a good son, trying to be a good son, he goes and he marries a Semite. He marries a daughter of Ishmael called Mahalath. So we have 3 wives now: Judith, Basemath, and Mahalath. That's Genesis 26 and Genesis 28. But then in Genesis 36, he has 3 wives again, but they have different names and they don't correspond easily. But one way to explain this is that he probably had more than 3 wives, and the 3 wives mentioned in Genesis 36 are only wives who gave him sons. So Judith is not mentioned. Does she have a son? We don't know. But she's not mentioned again. But in Genesis 36, we have Adah the daughter of Elon the Hittite. Now, is that the same name as Basemath, daughter of Elon the Hittite earlier? Or did he marry another daughter of Elon? Don't know. But then we have Basemath, the daughter of Ishmael, not Mahalah, the daughter of Ishmael. Did he marry a second daughter of Ishmael, or does Mahalah / Basemath, is that the same person? We don't know again. But then he marries Aholibamah, the daughter of Anah, the daughter of Zibeon, the Hivite. Now the Hivites are another Canaanite tribe. Okay, so we have Judah, Bathmes, and Mahalah in one place, and then we have Adah, Basemath, and Aholibamah in another place. I believe the second mention of these wives, again, is just wives who gave him sons. And there's multiple wives here, and there's no way to reconcile this. You cannot actually come up with a solution to this because we don't know how many wives he had. We just have to leave it there. But the Bible's recording genealogical data, and it's not telling us all the details. You okay with that? But an instant problem comes up when you say Aholibamah. Is it Aholibamah, the daughter of Anah, the daughter of Zibeon, or the daughter of Anah, who's a son of Zibeon? When you look at translations like the Septuagint, the Syriac, lots of ancient translations, they fiddle with this a little bit. Some of them say Aholibamah, the daughter of Anah, the son of Zibeon. Some say Aholibamah, the granddaughter. Oh, and when you look at English translations, you see lots of variations also. The ESV says Aholibamah, daughter of Anah, daughter of Zibeon. Others say son of. One of them says granddaughter. So there's all these variations in the English translations also, because the Hebrew here is really difficult. I mean, it wouldn't be too hard, because the words son and daughter are not that different, for an ancient scribe to have mistakenly written down daughter as an Anah, daughter of Zibeon. But it's not likely, because there's another place just a few verses later where it's talking about the kings of Edom. There's a guy named Hadad who marries Mehitabel, the daughter of Metrad, the daughter of Mezab. But Metrad, or Metred, again, is a guy. He's a male. He can't be the daughter of Mezab because he's not a female. So we have two places nearby in the same chapter that have a very similar grammatical construction. Now, is it an error? Well, then it has to be two errors right near each other, which is not likely. Or maybe there's just something about being a daughter of. Like, in the New Testament, when the Jews say, we have Abraham as our father. Well, they're not sons of Abraham, but they said, he's our father. Well, maybe here, if you're a daughter, you can be the daughter of somebody and the daughter, in scare quotes, of your grandfather. We have twice in the same chapter, the same thing appears. I don't think it's a mistake. I think it's our not understanding how the Edomites are traditionally tracking the daughters' genealogies. And again, it's an unanswerable question. The daughters, or the wives of Esau is one, and then this son/daughter issue that appears twice in Genesis 36 is another. But this is the nature of genealogy. This is the nature of the data with which we have to work. And scholars have been fighting over this for thousands of years. So just know that as soon as we start trying to understand biblical genealogy, we run into some textual issues. I think they're solvable, but we cannot actually know the answer. Okay? Now, Esau is going to have a whole lot of children. He's going to have, through Basemath/Adah, a son named Eliphaz. Eliphaz is going to marry as a concubine a daughter of Seir the Horite. Now, Mount Seir, is an elongated mountain that's on the west side of the Arabah, southeast of the border of Edom and Judah. And Horite, it just means cave dweller. It's not really a name. It's a designation. It's a description. So Seir probably lived in a cave on top of Mount Seir, interestingly. So we have Eliphaz, the son of Esau, through Basemath/Adah, who marries Timnah, and through that is born a child named Amalek. And the Amalekites are going to pop up multiple times. These are the people, when the Israelites come out of Egypt they fight the Amalekites. This is when Moses is holding up his arms with the staff and he gets tired, so Aaron and Hur come and help him hold up the staff, and every time the staff is up, they're winning, and when he puts his arms down, they're losing. Those are the Amalekites. Later on, the Amalekites are going to cause trouble in King Saul's day, and David is going to famously destroy them. And later on, an Amalekite is going to appear in the book of Esther, and he's going to try to destroy the Jews. Oh, wow. So the Amalekites are all over the place. But we have the Amalekites. They come from Eliphaz, the son of Esau. Now, Eliphaz, through an unknown wife, has a bunch of other sons. Their names aren't so important until you really think. One is Teman, then Omad, then Zepho, then Gatam, then Kenaz, then Korah. Now, Kenaz is really interesting. Why? Because Kenaz should have given rise to a group of people called the Kenazites. And we have a man in the Exodus named Caleb. Caleb is one of the 12 spies who sent into Canaan. And he's one of the 2 that say, yes, we can take them. The other 10 were afraid. So Moses says, all right, Caleb and Joshua, you 2 were the brave ones. You're going to live long enough to go into Canaan 40 years from now. All the other ones, everyone else, you're just going to die. So Caleb's really important, but Caleb's dad is called Jephunneh, the Kenizzite. Well, that's weird. There's another place where Caleb's lineage is given in the tribe of Judah, and his father in that list is not Jephunneh. Later on, Caleb is going to conquer the city of Hebron, which is an important city. It's a big town south of Jerusalem. This is where Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob all lived. But he conquers, and he's given this town to live in, and the Bible says something like, I'm paraphrasing, and so he was given land amongst the children of Judah. That's a weird phrase. Why would it bother to say he's given land amongst the children of Judah if he's from the tribe of Judah? Well, maybe because he's not. Maybe his dad, Jephunneh the Kenizzite, was actually from the tribe of Edom. We don't know again, but it's an interesting little thing in there. There's another name, though, that immediately pops up to me when I hear it goes from Esau to Eliphaz to Teman. Because in the book of Job, one of Job's friends is Eliphaz the Temanite. So here we have Eliphaz who has a son named Teman. What if Teman had a son named Eliphaz or a grandson or something? That's a very Edomite-like name appearing in the book of Job. I'm going to do a whole episode on that later. Joel Tay and I are writing a very detailed article on the names in Job and where they tie into the Bible. It's fascinating, but hold tight. I don't want to tell you too much details. Okay, so Esau has another wife, Mahlah/Basemath, the daughter of Ishmael. And she has a son named Reuel, and Reuel gives us Nahath, Zerah, Shammah, and Mizrah. These are not important names as far as I know. But then he has another wife named Aholibamah, the daughter of Anah, the daughter of Zibeon the Hivite, and Aholibamah gives us Jeush, Jalam, and Korah. Again, 3 names, not super important, but they're there. So here's my point. Why are we going through all these detailed genealogies? It's so we can understand the Bible better. It's so that when we see something, it's just not some vague, random blah, 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 and you skip over it because you don't know where it belongs. No, a lot of these things tie back into the biblical story. And so we have the Edomites fighting the Israelites later on. Well, the Edomites, of course, are descendants of Esau. We now know where they live. We now know where they tie in. We now know that the Edomites are appearing maybe in the tribes of Israel. We know that they might be appearing in the book of Job, that they might be appearing in the book of Esther. I mean, this is fascinating. These people are a lot more important than you kind of think the first time you read through it. But it's like the genealogies, the data that we're looking at, spiders into the rest of the Bible, so that if you want to understand the rest of the Bible, you have to understand the names in these genealogies. And that's why we're doing this. And I hope you understand my motivations here. And I hope you bearing with me here that this is my 6th episode on genealogy. I think this is my 99th biblical genetic episode. So for all of you who have been with me for the long haul, thank you so much. I am shocked that some of you have watched every single one of my episodes. I'm really surprised that some of you have been supporting me this entire time, and I appreciate it so much. If you'd like to help out with biblical genetics, there'll be a link in the show notes for either patreon.com, those are my long-term supporters, or buymeacoffee.com, which is basically you can throw me a tip if you like. But I'm not asking for money. I'm just telling you that that is where my supporters go who are helping this program thrive. God bless you all. I hope you learned something about the Bible. I hope this is encouraging to you. I hope it's useful to you. There's a lot more coming because genealogy is fascinating. Okay, one more thing though. Why talk about genealogy in a program on genetics? It's because they have the same root word. In fact, early genetics was genealogy. We didn't learn about DNA and mutations until the 1900s. The structure of DNA came in the 1950s. The idea that the genes are carried on DNA was the late 1940s. I mean, the DNA part of genetics is pretty late in development, but the genealogy part of genetics is where everything started. So these are the same fields. It's just like DNA genetics is a subset of genealogy genetics, if you want to think of it that way. Well, that's all I have to say. I've been sitting on a rock in this water course for 45 minutes now, and I've been watching the shadow of the trees move this way. It gets closer and closer and closer to me. As soon as that sun hits, it's going to be too hot to be here. So I'm going to hike back out to my car. I'm going to drive back down to Phoenix. This afternoon, we start the Creation Research Society Board of Directors meeting, and I can't wait. I can't believe I get to work with these people, make some big decisions for that society. Hey, if you're not a member of the Creation Research Society, there'll be a link in the show notes also.